Hello everyone, this is Hamza Engineering for my first YouTube video regarding the Elegoo 2560 Mega, the most complete starter kit. So today I wanted to cover all the components so that we have a basic knowledge of what to do beforehand. So I'm going to research each component, and then I'm going to get at my GoPro and my little desk area, and we're going to go through each component one by one, explaining what it does and what its purpose is and how we're going to use it for our little projects later on. So guys, we have the most complete starter kit mega project by Elegoo in front of us. So we're going to be going over the 7 most important items that I think we should all start with. The Elegoo mega board, what do they call it? The mega controller board, that's what they call it. This is basically the brains of your project. This is the most important part of this kit, because it just basically is where you upload your code and you power the circuits that you make, and you power everything really. This is the brains of your project, and this is also acts as the power of your project too, like where the circuit gets its power from. So yeah, it's very important to know. We're gonna go over how to get the program for the code, it's free by the way, and how to upload your code and how to connect this to your laptop. It connects via USB. This isn't a USB, but the other wire, it comes with a wire that connects the laptop via USB to the laptop via USB. Our next very important component is this breadboard. Basically, the idea with this is that instead of, when you want to make circuits, because that's what we're really getting at here, it's like an electrical engineering, computer engineering kit, because it combines like electrical engineering and computer science through code. So what the point of the breadboard is when you want to make your circuits, you don't want to smolder wires together, and because it will be a lot more expensive, a lot more costly, and a lot more laborious. This basically just connects all your wires and your circuitry together without having to do any permanent smoldering or any just complicated processes. It basically simplifies the circuits so that you could easily change anything or edit stuff and still have all your components still working, and you don't need to replace anything or do anything complicated. Next, so obviously we covered these two, which is like the brains and the power, and the circuit base, almost like a canvas kind of. This is one of the most important things you have. These come in a lot, you get a lot of these. They're very important. This is called a male-to-male jumper wire. So basically, if you've ever had your car need starting again through a jumper wire, this is kind of like a mini jumper wire. So what it does is it connects the board, and connects the mega controller board to the breadboard, and basically just conducts electricity through it. So electricity can go from one end to the other, and basically it just allows for you to make circuits through this. So one of the first things you need to do always is these pins right here. I'm not sure if you can see on the camera, but this says power, and this is how you power your little circuit. So you plug in one of these male-to-male jumper wires, you put it here, and then you put it wherever you want the power to go. And then obviously you connect different pins and different stuff to the breadboard with more male-to-male jumper wires, but this is the most important aspect, to get the power into your breadboard so that you can actually make a circuit. And yeah, this is very important. You could also do it within the breadboard to connect different parts of it together so that electricity conducts the way you want it and flows the way you want it. And we're going to cover this more in the next lesson when we actually start doing stuff. But yeah, this is like a little overview of it. Next, this is very important. So when you connect your male-to-male jumper wire through the power and your breadboard, let's say you wanted to power a light or something, a little light, something small. If you connect your laptop to this, it's going to be a lot of electricity, especially if you put it in something. There's different voltages here. It has 5 volt, 3 volt, and yeah. Let's say you connected the 5 volt, right? You would need something called a resistor. As a resistor, as its name says, resists electricity. And the point of resisting electricity is so that it reduces the amount of electricity that, like, let's say the light receives, because you don't want, at the end of the day, you're going to be working with small lights, especially because this is like a starter kit. You're working with small lights that can't handle too much power, and if they get too much power, they're going to explode. You don't want anything to break, so you're going to have to use these resistors. And these resistors are also important. Let's say you wanted a dimmer light or something, you would use a resistor, or more resistors. And also, let me just grab it. There's different amounts of resistors. So this is 100K. This is 1 million. This is 10K, 2K, and yeah, these are different like amounts of resistors. Obviously, the higher the number, the more electricity it resists. So let's say you use the highest level of resistor, it's probably gonna be either a very dim light, or it's gonna be like as if you haven't had a light on in the first place. Moving on, you have this thing called a potentiometer. This is basically a resistor, I think up until 10K. I'm not sure, let me check. Yeah, up until 10K, where you could control the amount of resistance. So let's say you had that same light, and instead of you want it to be at one brightness, where it's like you use a high resistor if you want it to be dim, or a lower resistor if you want it to be brighter, you have this thing where it's like you could increase the resistance and decrease the resistance. And I'm not sure how it works exactly, but I know there's two metal plates that you kind of twist with this little thing, and it kind of works as a dimmer. So you could dim your light. I mean, obviously you could use it not just for light, but the light is the easiest example to understand this. But yeah, basically like a resistor, but you could increase the resistance and decrease the resistance, I think up until 10K. So speaking of lights, this is an LED light, right? Pretty basic. It has two metal wires coming out of it. One is positive, one is negative. And yeah, you connect it to your little board. You connect it to your little board like this, and then you direct the power to it and you use a resistor so you could turn it on. So this is the yellow light, and there's different colors like green, red, blue, and yellow, I think. Finally, we have this push button. I'm not sure if you see it on camera. Let's see. Yeah, look, push button. This thing, you plug it into your breadboard, and then you push the button to allow electricity to flow through it. And at the same time, like let's say you connect this with the resistor with the light, you could basically create a light that turns on and off depending on the button. And you also do code what you want the button to do in different circumstances. So yeah, and that's it for the 7 most basic stuff. And then finally you have all this stuff. You have this little keypad, which is, I think we could do some cool stuff with. You have this timer, like digits display, which I think we could do some really cool stuff with, especially like a clock or something. We have this LCD display that displays text. You have this you have a bunch of cool stuff, and yeah, we're gonna go over all of it. And yeah, thank you.